Ready to play some games, I think. What's up, Cryptomancer? Ready to play some games. So let's jump in and play some games. Find out what is going on in other waters. I think maybe this game wants me to play with controller. It mentioned an A button, but sticking with keyboard because that's what I'm more comfortable with, unless it's like a platformer or something. Had better weeks, had worse, sure. 5-day weekend, dang. That sounds delightful. Jump Over the Age. Who is Jump Over the Age? Is this their first game? This game is like a 2020 game, so it's relatively recent, but not like, you know, this year recent. So it's possible the studio has gone on to do other things after this. Oh, this is like movie opening credits. I think that tells you something about the kind of experience we're likely to be in for. OrcCon. I don't think I know what OrcCon is. Is that for board games? Feels like that could be for board games. Or maybe just like a generic sci-fi con. Mostly for board games. Alright, cool. Oh no! Error detected! What is... iTunes, why? Well, they did a good job of like building us up to something, and then it all crashed. Rebuilding memory. Oh, this is good. Log recovered. All right. Recovering last known log. Log recovered dated 2189. User AN. Sensorium disabled. There probably isn't any time left. This is going to be more restrictive than you're used to. But you are resourceful. I know you. I'm sorry, Oki. I can't let them find you. I can't lose everything we achieved here. This is a little bit harder to put together. S is... not sure what that is. Marathon-esque terminal noise. Out by LAX. Oh, I think I've actually been to that one. I think I was at whatever the Doctor Who con is out in that area. Gallifrey? I was at Gallifrey and spent one of the days hanging out with gamers in a nearby hotel, which I think may have been that very thing. Yeah, we'll continue with boot. I'm okay with continuing with booting. Let's get booted. Hello, is someone there? Yes? Me? Am I here? This is Dr. Ellery Voss. I urgently need all systems of this suit activating. I've been locked out, and I'm 20 meters below the surface. That does seem problematic. I say again, this is Dr. Ellery Voss. Can any operator personas on this suit please respond? Is that me? Am I an operator persona? Screw you, I've been abandoned! Is that a no? Operator, activate all systems. Pilot authorization granted. Well, I can't do a thing about that. Oh. I guess I didn't have a choice in the matter. Oxygen? She needed power, right? The power panel is activating. Plenty of juice. Oxygen? Are you alive? Please be alive. Oxygen panel is up and rebreather functioning. I'm off reserve oxygen now. Oh, good. Well, that's a good start. Depth, probably? Okay, good. The dive panel is active. Current reading of 20 meters. Which is what we said, right? What they said? I think that's what they said. Possible that we have made eye contact, even. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that could very well have been me. I don't know. I feel like OC Remix sweatshirts are not, like, uncommon, but I could be wrong. And also, I don't remember which year I went relative to the year I went to MagWest in order to pick up this sweatshirt. So, it is a mystery. Congratulations on your participation trophy, Mr. Gecko. I guess I want to know more about scan and topography. Scan and topography readouts coming through. Looking good. Can I Ooh, I can interact with this. I can interact with yellow things. I can interact with some yellow things. I'm just gonna keep messing with their settings until they stop me. That's not true. Eventually, I'll stop me. I'll probably get bored of this after like 2 or 3 more tries. Whee! Anyway. Okay, utilities available. Let's see. Sampling, sample storage, terminal, and retrieval seem to be installed. Do you not know the capabilities of your suit before you got launched into the water and trapped there? Why don't you know the capabilities of your suit? How did this happen to you? Also, how did I happen to you? Hey, Maruchan, how's it going? Mine was the face you eventually settled on as having been reminded of. Ah, okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, could have been. Could very well have been. Alright, one last thing to click on. I'm seeing the heading panel coming online. Excellent. This is after I refused to help them, by the way. I apparently have no choice but to help them. Well, there you go. That's all your panels. You don't seem to know what you're doing. You're not an operator, are you? Of course I am! How dare you? I don't believe you. Operators are little more than voice-activated system dialogues. They don't respond like this. Alright, well, I guess the jig is up. 3 seconds into the game, we've already been found out. Okay for you, but not someone else? My sympathies. Uh-oh. I missed a dialogue. Look, we don't have time for this. So whatever program or system you are, I need you to work with me. I guess. Why is there time on the dialogues? Why would you do that to me? You seem to respond to voice commands, so that's a start. We need to head north. I'll explain once we get going. But right now I'm locked out of half the systems of this suit. Someone, somehow, has rewritten the permissions to only respond to internal messaging. That means you. Is this something you knew about ahead of time? How did this happen to you just, like, randomly? So I'm going to need you to take control. Let's get moving. Take me north into the reef. Please. Please, okay. What does this button do? What do any of these buttons do? I mean, I know where north is. Link. Unknown region. Request retrieval. Biosample? Can't play with these. Biohazard? Sample storage. Okay. Biosample. Retrieval. ACS terminal. Car wreck on the highway near your house? Oh no. Oh no. Wow, that's a mess. Well, glad you're okay. What if I press this button? If I press this button again? Is this a destination? Southern Gully. Feature. Steep rock walls rise up towards the surface on either side. The floor is layered with pale sand. Okay. Does this mean go to the place? What does this button do? That was really drastic. I was so surprised. I don't know why I was surprised. But, like, that was very sudden. Suddenly zooming. All right. What does this button do? Oh, that takes me back to whatever this is. That I don't understand. Ah, okay. I have a target destination. And I need to... So this is my vector for travel, I guess. What if I switch this? This is for scanning purposes now? Now I'm scanning. All right. What does this button do? Southern Gully Vector Clear. It just sets me up to do the thing. This is like hint, maybe? If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, wait long enough until you can click this button. All right, let's go to the thing. Southern Gully. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep heading north. Do I have to? I probably have to. I need a place to go, though. Ah, there's a place to go. Narrow Pass. A boulder fills this passage, blocking out the warm light of Gliese 667 CCs. 3 stars. All right. Oh, I have it selected. And if I I cannot unselect it. But having it selected, I guess I can hit this button and then that turns off. Okay. So if I go into scan mode and I select it, it lights this up. So this is just go to the place I have selected. Great. Go to the place I have selected. Yeah, do the thing. We're slowly losing slight amounts of power, which makes sense. Gully opening. Here the passage opens out, back into the dappled light of the reef's shallows. Poetic. Sure, go to the place. Well, yellow dots. What are the yellow dots? Scan the yellow dots. Now they're black dots, because my mode changed. Sure. Soft currents. The softly flowing water is filled with glittering particles of organic matter. Signs of rich and thriving life all around. Can we go up or down or something? Can't interact with any of these things. I want to interact with things. I don't just want to be told to go to a place and then go to a place. I'm not that kind of AI. I might be that kind of AI. Alright, I guess we're going to a place. I'm going to continue going to the place. Oh my god, so many dots. Look, in the water. Are those spores? And those stalks to the west, they look like huge fungi. This is unbelievable. Actual alien life. How could Minay have kept this place a secret? Who's Minay? I saw her notes at the base when I landed, and some telltale signs on approach. But here it is. The first extraterrestrial life humanity has ever discovered. Well, let's hope it's not violent. I can't believe it. Yo, what's up, Lunar Waffles? I can't believe it either. Let's take a sample. I've got a sample thing here, right? Bio sample. Sample them. I guess I gotta figure out where I'm going first. Where are we going? Any number of places. This is a place with a sample. Bed of stalks. Fungal creature made up of a series of stalks and plates attached to the rock. Color ranges from dark amber to acid yellow. Not a lot of data has been gathered, but I think this number is growing. This place, this planet, needs to be studied. Keep scanning creatures and I'll keep notes. Okay. Once we've gathered enough data, I can name and log each species. No matter what happens here, this is vital work. I guess. If you say so. Southern Nursery. Protected by the ridges from the strong northern currents. This could be a safe haven for younger, softer species. Sounds like me. I am a softer species. Beds of these creatures coat the pale rocks. Are these plants or animals? They're unlike any earth coral or sponge. Bed of stalks. Is this also bed of stalks? It is also bed of stalks. This creature's external membrane appears to be made of layers of chitin, like arthropods or fungi. Yeah, data's being gathered, slowly. Maybe we should go closer to it. Maybe then data will be gathered faster. What were those creatures? They were hidden among the stalks. Quickly, try to get a scan. Quickly, he says. She says? How do I get a scan? Oh, the scan button, probably. Agile creature. Striped with luminous colors, these flexible flapping creatures move rapidly through the water with little effort. These are such lively creatures, and so colorful too. I'll start logging my observations. Okay, you do that. More bed of stalks. I'm seeing a complex pattern of contracting. Oh my god, it's the thing. Click the thing. Heh, get clicked, guy. These creatures appear to maneuver with a series of siphon jets concealed beneath their folded mantles. They are incredibly fast. All right, back to reading the other thing. I'm already enjoying this game in a way that I didn't expect to. Complex pattern of contracting and expanding slits in the stalk's membrane. Mouths or sensing organs? Stalk patch. Sample candidate. The stalks here are furred with spores, which appear to have drifted down from the northern part of the reef. Squirrel sim. Maybe. There's already quite a few things to be distracted by. These colonies are producing a shifting hum. Perhaps it is a form of communication between individuals. Data continues to be gathered. All right, how do I sample though? Can I take samples? Map data. This is stuff that we have sampled. And this, I don't know what this is. Retrieval? Request retrieval. I guess not yet. Can I go to this thing? No, I can only go to the circles. This one has a thing in it, though. Vector clear sample candidate. Ah, sample candidate. Okay, that's the deal. That's why it has the extra circle. Alright, yeah, much easier to navigate via this method than twisting the thing around. Alright, well, go. Sampling available. These stalks are covered in spores of all sizes. Perhaps we can sample one of the larger ones. I'm in position. You'll have to take the sample. Opening up the sampling utility. Okay, that's this one, right? Found it. Fungal seed. We've got one. Biological samplers are vital tools for analyzing and understanding creatures. But this suit should also allow you to deploy any sample back into the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag it over to the central compass. Stalk spore containing a complex cocktail of minerals and compounds. Deploy inside line. Get deployed. Okay, great. That's working as it should. Why am I doing all the work, Mr. or Mrs. Pilot? Look, those creatures are coming for the spores. Why these ones in particular, I wonder. Maybe they taste better because they've been manipulated. Perhaps different spores carry different compounds, each with a specific purpose or message. What do you think? Could the spores be a way of communicating between different colonies? Sure, that's as likely as anything else. It isn't that strange. Fungi on Earth form networks of exchange. Maybe these stalks do the same. Anyway, sorry. I'm not sure why I... Let's keep moving. Okay, I guess. But there's, like, stuff to sample. You don't want to sample more stuff, Mr. or Mrs. Pilot? I'm seeing spores entering and exiting the slits on the surfaces of the stalk. Something is being exchanged. The colonies seem to be broken up into individual patches and then larger groups over a wide area. I'm not sure if this is actually going up like as I'm looking at it, or does it go up every time I click on another one of these? Like if I'm just sitting here, is it moving? It's really hard for me to tell. I kind of think it is. But, like, it's subtle if it is. Smooth boulder. Oh, what size boulder is it, do you think? Is it, like, A small boulder? Or a large boulder? Or maybe it's a large boulder the size of a small boulder. This huge rock sits among layers of lichen. Could it have been thrown here during a volcanically active period in the planet's history? If it's moving, it might just be going back and forth like other display elements. Oh, maybe, yeah. It seems like it's definitely been advancing as we kind of move through this region, but maybe it's because we move to different areas or click on new, like, stock things. Sampling available. We take another sample. Stock spore. Yeah, alright. Keep that sample handy. Let's go to the smooth boulder. You've been thinking it for a couple of minutes? Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's one of the better things that has happened on the internet. Alright, so if I look at here, it hasn't moved. And if I click on this one, yes, it filled up. New species logged, reef stalks. I'm uploading my initial notes. Let's call these reef stalks. We can classify this species in the lab. Fungal creature which communicates through sound and spores. An interlocking ecosystem seeded across the reef. Oh, now all of them have the same thing because they're all part of the same creature. So now it's fully logged, I understand what's going on. So they're all the same now, whereas each of them was an individual observation about the creature. And once I had enough data gathered, the thing is complete. Alright, well I guess we'll go over here. That seems like a reasonable place to go. Silent clearing. What is it that dictates the reef's growth patterns? Sunlight? The flow of water? Whatever it is, it must be absent here. Predator? What if there was a predator here? Spore flow. Spores from the main part of the reef are brought into the southern nurseries here by a steady current. Stalk patch. Among these spore-clogged stalks are piles of small stones. Could a creature have gathered them here, or just the currents? Yo, I want to find out what's up with the stones. Find out what's up with the stones. Sampling available. Heck yeah. Yoink. I think it's the same. Yeah, it looks like it's the same. Alright. It looks like we have learned nothing by going next to the stones. So, too bad. Alright, we'll go over here, I guess. Hey, can I ask you something? Absolutely not. We don't have that kind of relationship. Forget it then. Really? Oh, now I feel bad. I'm sorry. You can ask me whatever you want. I don't promise to have answers, but you can ask. Regret. I was too much of a dick, and now the pilot's mad at me. Northern current. The current running into the reef slows here, but further north, the water whips down the rift with incredible speed. Sounds like fun. Man, I just want to be in scan view all the time. This is the same reef stalks. Long rift. Wide and long with sheer rock walls on either side. This deep rift channels unpredictable currents. Overgrown arch. This arch is covered in hardened stalks. Perhaps the slow current passing through brought their spores to settle here. Nah, let's check out the deep water. That sounds like fun. Strong current. Flecked with spores, this water runs fast and hard. The suit can't push any further north here without better propulsion. Bummer. So I can't just travel, right? I have to have a thing to travel to, it seems. So I guess we'll travel to this thing. Ooh, it's a new life form! Large growths. These larger stalks sway all around this basin. They almost resemble branchless trees bending in a storm. Static creature made up of one huge flexible stalk. These huge stalks are incredible. Each one a vertical ecosystem. Alright. They are leaking spores into the water as the fruiting bodies attached to their skin bloom. Wow, that sounds heinous. Unclear if swaying is due to current or is produced by the stalk's own body. Many of these stalks are leaking particles into the water as they sway. Are those spores or something else? Something... There's a lot of spores happening here. I am mildly concerned. Does the suit protect us against spores? Are spores gonna be a problem? Did you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as we passed through the arch. Whoa, 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 whoa. Consent, stalks. Consent. Perhaps it was the sound we made when we moved through? We should be careful not to get trapped here. This suit's power capacity is limited. Aha. Yeah, agreed. The chitin of the stalk's membrane is very hard, but flexibility is given by a surface of overlapping plates. There's a lot of activity among the rocks ahead. Creatures are grazing on and living among the stalks, forming a complex ecosystem. I'm worried about potentially, like, traveling to a place where we could get touched by stalks. It seems like maybe dangerous. But okay. If the vector's clear, the vector's clear. Look, over to the southwest. That stalk is totally calcified. Looks like a good sample candidate, if you say so. Southwest, that's this one. Calcified stalk. What about the thing that was moving? Can I click on the moving thing? It's gone. It's gone forever. I'll never be able to click on it. Hello? It's a dolphin. Well, it's making dolphin noises. This huge stalk is totally still. Its plates hardened into a rocky shell. Can it be revived? Or is this what death looks like around here? The plates of the stalk's surface, passing over one another, must be producing the distinctive hum that can be heard. Forest path. The growth gets heavier as we travel north into the stalk forest. Something about giving it that name makes it feel safer, more familiar. These creatures must be related to the other stalks on the reef, but seem to have a separate purpose to the lower beds. It's safe to assume that the singing of these stalks relates to the communication between colonies seen elsewhere on the reef. Click! Click! Do the... it's not the right color, actually. I don't know that I can click on it. It is clearly a thing. I can't go to this one? Vector blocked. Why is the vector blocked? Sing stalk. That's what we're calling them? Sure. I've named these sing stalks for that strange hum they produce. What is its precise function, I wonder? I wonder as well. Large stalks which sway, producing a distinctive hum or a groan. Oh my god. That was, like, close enough to touch. Shelled creature. Mobile creature with a large translucent shell and 4 swimming appendages, which it uses in a rapid rowing motion. These creatures have such beautiful translucent shells. I'll start logging data on them as we find them. Alright, that's a good idea, probably. Alright, why can't I go here, though? Vector blocked. No real reason. Let's go take a sample, I guess. Oh. Stalk looks dead. Open up the sampling panel. We can extract some of the outer membrane. Okay. Fungal, 15%. Tissue 0. There was another one, though. Okay, so the chitin appears to be hardened with calcium carbonate. That could be useful if we need to boost our power. You mean we can steal these for... The suit is able to metabolize organic compounds to produce fuel. Just drag them to the power panel. Oh. The suit displays how much oxygen or power each sample can produce. No point wasting important samples. With these, we can keep one sample so we can analyze it back on the base, and use the other for a power boost. How much power? Is that what this is? Fungal? Well, we seem to be okay on oxygen. I guess my my pilot doesn't breathe. That was probably wasteful. All right, whatever. Rip junk rubbing. We have to have a reason to do things, right? Painful. I just want to do things. I don't want to have reasons. The space between the rocks here is thick with stalks. The elaborate patterns they trace across the reef are beautiful, if you say so. I wouldn't know what beauty is, being just an AI. Agile creature. Flitting around the reef, these creatures chase stalk spores with great enthusiasm. Is this their primary food source? Bear Canyon. The stalks here are clear of stalks and other growths. Is their absence a territorial marker or just a side effect of the conditions of these waters? Sure, let's find out. Cavern Edge. A large cavern drops down into the reef here. Its entrance is shadowed by the surrounding rocks. Southern Cavern. Seems like the lower gauge is your pilot breathing. What, this one? Yeah, but we're not burning any oxygen. Like, nothing has changed here. We're very much burning through power. The water is still in the yawning entrance of the cavern. There are no signs of stalks or other reef life around the entrance. Is that because it's dangerous, or for no reason? Well, that's a dead end. Okay, cool. They're on the rebreather system rather than reserves. Oh, yeah, they did say that, didn't they? Vector blocked? Oh no, my vector! Wait, the place that I was at before I can't get to anymore? That's a problem. Huh. Stalk bark. Well, I don't know that I want to just go places randomly, but I don't have a lot of options other than go places randomly. So maybe I'll just continue to go places randomly? Descent possible. Oh, there was a thing I could do here. Alright, what does descent possible mean? Ah, I can press down. I understand. Suddenly, it all becomes clear. Stalk patches. The patchy sunlight coming through the broken cavern roof is enough to allow stalks to grow here, if that is what they require. Is that what they require? That's a good question. Oh. Tall stalk. A tall, bubble-coated stalk which sits among reef stalk colonies. Seems to watch over the smaller colonies. Yeah, you better take notes. covered in wide irising pores. Like, irising, like, as we look at it, it's like flickering, opening and closing, because that's worrisome. I guess we'll take a closer look. Soft sunlight spills down onto a long, thin stalk stretching towards the light. A coating of large, glassy bubbles glitters on its skin. What about this one? Clogged tunnel. Stalks mesh across the cavern here, hardened into a near solid wall of tubes and plates. That sounds cool. Oh, I guess it doesn't sound cool. Never mind. I've changed my mind. We're going to go get samples. Sampling available. Yeah, no, it did say that. That's a lot of samples, actually. Lichen signal. Lichen and signal. Lichen and signal. Take all the samples. Get everything sampled. These gaseous bubbles are intriguing. Are they? The interior gas is at an elevated pressure. If this membrane ruptured, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Whoa. Is this part of the stock communication system we've seen across the reef? Wait, I have an idea. Try deploying one by that blocked tunnel over there. I want to see how the stocks react. Just drag one over. Like that? Great! We yelled at the plants, and the plants let us alone. They retracted. These bubbles must be some kind of signal system. I'll call them shrill sacs for that squeak. Now it's a spherical gas-filled membrane produced by stalks. It's got 10% signal on it. I still don't know what that means. Let's get moving. Okay. Blind corner. The cavern curves away in both directions here. It's hard to see the way ahead. That's not going to stop me. Going straight for it. So I guess you're wondering where we're headed. No. No. No questions. No wondering. There's a way station just north of here. On a finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down just hours ago at a floating research base to the south. That's where I found this suit. Oh, so you just put on a powered suit without knowing anything about how it was supposed to work or anything? I'm looking for Dr. Mine Nomura, chasing a message all the way from Earth. Do you think Dr. Mine Nomura was our previous owner? I must sound mad, coming out here to a planet in the tail of Scorpius just to follow a message. I mean, and to look at alien life. Wait, you do know where we are, don't you? Nope, I don't know anything. But how? We're on Gliese 667cc, a supposedly unremarkable world, if it wasn't for all this life. Somehow the Exoplanet Extraction Corps must have passed it by. But how did Mine know to come here? Is that why she contacted me? To verify her discovery? But then where is she? Look, let's find that way station. Then I can start piecing together what's going on. Oh, good. Somebody has agency here. Somebody's going to get something done. Thin passage. The cavernary is here, and small eddies of water twirl in the silt. All the, like, poetic descriptions of the various places. Cavern entrance. A current can be felt, drifting through the cavern entrance, bringing with it warm clouds of silt. I guess ascent is possible here? I'm going to ascend. It's more tall stalks. Stalks of this kind seem to produce different bubbles depending on the nearby stalks. They are the protectors of their colonies. Are they? Protecting from what? Large clearing. I can't help but feel some unseen process shaping the growth patterns of this reef. What invisible borders am I crossing? Ah, more samples. I love samples. Let's go get samples. Samples are great, because then I can eat them for power. Oh, some of them have... Oh, they have indicators of how much they'll refill. Like, this will refill my oxygen by 10%, but I guess it'll refill my power by nothing? Yeah, it ate it, and the bar didn't move. Okay. So these are indicators of how much of each thing I'm going to get. And also, I can just release them into the wild if I am so inclined. Rock outcrop. The scattered boulders and steep rifts of the southern reef suggest a violent geological past. Okay, but let's check this one out first. Yeah, alright, fair enough. Isolated stock. Unlike the other specimens, this large stock sits alone, away from the lower beds. It's hard to tell if this is the beginning of a colony or its end. Tanker truck and car hit each other, both the car and truck lit on fire. But the car person didn't make it out of the car. Wow, that sucks. Whoa, I'm glad you're safe, Maruchan, but yeah, that sucks for whoever was involved, damn. Stock passage. The stalks are more sparse between these rock outcrops. This might be the easiest path north, if I can clear the way. Well, that's what I have the yelly bubbles for. Presumably. Spore clouds. The relative calm of this basin means the water is clogged with spores released by the larger stalks. Deep forest. The stalks here are so thick. A sea of amber waving fingers that must be cleared before we can pass through. So I can't go through here until I yell at it. Okay, but like, what was this way? Another thing that I have to yell at. Sure. Forest path. Ah, this is a way back to where I was before, without needing to go through... Zoom out real quick. I can't quite tell from, like, how this is positioned, but I think this is the way back to the cavern, the way I made it into the cavern originally. Okay. More tall stalks. Some creatures target these tall stalks directly, perhaps because they keep them away from the other softer stalks nearby? Sure. Navigating these dense growths is like finding your way in a labyrinth, moving from clearing to clearing with little sense of what's ahead. What's this thing? Oh, just a circle. Sure. Glittering stalk. Bubbles like huge pearls glint among the stalks. How do the tall stalks produce these strange screeching sacs? The growth patterns of the stalks suggest a complex territorial network. Are we underestimating the complexity of these life forms? Okay, so I can't get through here because it's all sealed off, right? Oh. Shelled creature. These creatures glide among the reef stalks with great care and precision. They appear to be grazing on them. Oh, I have to scan again whenever the life form gets nearby. So any of those fast-moving dots, if I want to click on them, I gotta scan them. That's the thing that I missed before. Okay. So I could pop this open with another screech sack, I guess. But I want to have a Screech Sack to take with me, so I think I have to go over here so as to not be sackless as I maneuver. A delicate set of feeding appendages beneath the creature's shell seem to scrape the outer membrane of the stalks away. Signal stalk. Okay. I'm going to call these signal stalks for the signaling role they play in the stalk ecology. Is this just what you've, like, decided is true? Or... Occasionally, when the creature scrapes the stalks too aggressively, they retract and let out a defensive signal to nearby colonies. Oh. There seems to be some tolerance for the creature's scraping by the stalks. They only warn the creature when it cuts too deeply. Clear path. East and west are stalks as far as the eye can see. They fade off into the silt like the towers of a miniature city. More glittering stalk. Okay, so if I needed to recover more sample, I could go here. But let's go here anyway. And see if there's, like, navigation that we can do from here. Yeah, there is. Upper forest. This isn't a forest, but it carries the atmosphere of one. Being immersed in interlocking natural processes of life and death. Yeah, I could totally go here. That's it. We're through. This place is overwhelming. So many new species. This is the Central Reef. I saw on Manea's maps that the shelf flattens out here. Okay, but, like, what about the other place? You know? Like, what did I miss? Let's go look at the other place first, now that I've gone clearly towards progression. Spore clusters. Spores from the stalks seem to be missing here in large clumps. This might be a good place to sample them. Twin stones. These two boulders are covered with tiny stalks. A coating of amber fur waving in the currents. Yo, I want to go get sample things. Love samples. Doesn't look like I can get anywhere from here. These creatures aggressively pursue certain spores, but ignore others completely. Can they detect differences in the mineral content? The relationship between these creatures and the stalks is unclear, but they camouflage themselves among the amber colonies. Yeah, there's nowhere out this way that I can go, but I can take a sample here. Stalk spore. These things I already had samples of? Yes, it's this thing. Alright, well. Get some more power out of it. I don't need extras. I only need the one. Alright, what's with this place? Forest's edge. The last line of thick stalks before the sandy plains of the Central Reef. Can I go there, or no? Well, eventually. We just have the bubbles yell at them, because that's what bubbles do, I guess. Rippling silt. Ripples of silt bounce sunlight back up through the water, giving it a golden glow. Shady outcrop. The water beneath this outcrop feels cool, oceanic. Soft currents scrape sand from the rock face. Sure. Piled stones. items, a set of smooth stones sitting together in a pile. Could a creature have gathered these here? Is this a nest? That's a hell of a question. I've noticed smaller, spotted variants of these creatures. Another species? Or perhaps sexual dimorphism? These might be the males. The smaller, spotted ones are the males? Sure. Ooh. This is neat. This looks like a building. Central plain. The center of the reef is flat and sandy, with few rocks to attach to the stalks struggle. With few rocks to attach to. The stalks struggle to seed these waters. There it is. I see the way station ahead. The way station? Way station! A way station set up by Mine Nomura. It's seen better days, but it still functions beneath the coating of stalks. Alright, I guess we can go to the plot. This place is looking a little worse for wear. Let me see if I can find an access port. Oh. Space is apparently a hotkey for scan. Mine never did take care of her equipment. Some things never change. Sorry. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to... Got it. Okay, we should be able to access any data stored here. Just open the terminal and take a look. That's this one. Okay. And we can restore power and oxygen, I guess? Oh, heck yeah. Spoofing user, Dr. Mine Nomura. Last accessed history cleared. Log download? Yeah, okay. Map data. Data released to pilot's console. Logs have been cleared. I expected that, given the secrecy Mine seems to be operating under. But the map data mentions something Mine calls the Bloom, out across the northern rift. She's been going back and forth to something there, studying it. A unique species, perhaps? Mine, what were you doing here? Why were you keeping this discovery from the world? From me? Who are you to Dr. Mine? Like, why would Mine care about you specifically? I'm talking to myself again. Or to whatever you are. Sorry, I don't mean... Let's head back to the research base. I need to think. With this way station operational, we can call in the base's retrieval drone from the utility panel. This drone will be able to pick us up from any area we've got map data for. Let's head to the base. We've got a lot to figure out. I don't wanna. I wanna go exploring. This stalk is leaking spores from a wide slit in its side. They're carried across the soft sand by the currents coming from the east reef. Hello. It's not letting me move the thing anymore. I guess by clicking on it, I get to read it, but I don't know that I don't know whether or not I've been there. So, like, it shows that I've read it, but I don't know that it shows whether or not I've been there. So that's a little concerning. The pale sand is unmoving here, but to the north I can see the yawning chasm and strong currents of a wide rift. Large, smooth pebbles sit in the sand, and beyond I can see the suns catching the amber terraces of another stalk forest. Oh, now I can move it. I couldn't move it before. Why couldn't I move it before? Alright. Well, if you're not going to let me go anywhere, I guess I'll just do the thing that you told me to do. Mapped region, connection available, request retrieval, link. Connection complete. Alright, retrieve me. Let's get retrieved! Baikal exoplanet extraction. Well, so is the entire game gonna be through terminals? This is fascinating. Yeah, it looks like the entire game is menus. Hey, are you back online? No. Sarcasm. Cute. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. And the OS here does not play nicely with whatever you are. Now I have to fight a rival AI? Man. But you should have access to select subsystems of the stack now. Minet looks to have repurposed some of them, so not everything is functional. Comms are shot, the generator is only partially working, and one of the retrieval drones is missing. But I've booted up the dive bay's mapping systems and sample storage. The lab is also online, with analysis tools and an integrated taxonomy for logging creatures. Take a look. I've already logged the creatures we discovered on our last dive. I'm gonna have to deal with Tycho if I want to go rampant in peace. To fulfill these requests, just find and transfer the samples to the lab, then analyze them. Why? Why is there an auto move on to the next dialogue? That's such a... I can then use that data to add to the creature study. Head down to the lab level and take a look. I'll also mark sample requests on the dive lab. That way we can grab key samples for our studies while we're out in the ocean. And we're going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal. A suit transponder. What if it's Dr. Minet? What if it's whatever got Dr. Minet? You can see its location on the dive map. I want to find it. A suit transponder means a suit. And a suit means Minet. I'll need your help. That suit takes both of us to pilot it. And it's the only one I've got. And what purpose do you serve? Ellery Voss? Like, what do you actually do here? Once you're done exploring the base, load into the dive map. We can head out from there. Like, you just sit in the suit while I pilot it and take samples and do everything, and you just, like, talk to me? Like some kind of, I don't know, sentient parasite? You're lucky I'm programmed not to kill you. Comm signal. Signal error. Antenna damaged. Oh. Hab. Crew terminal. Oh, it's Dr. Ellery Voss. Look, they're walking around. Where are they going? Into the circle. And what are they doing there? It is a mystery. I don't see that information. Sample storage. Taxonomy. Sample analysis activated. Whoa. Reef stock. Yo! Oh my god. So much information. I need to give them samples. Okay. Reef stalks are fungal life forms, which take the form of a series of stalks and plates anchored to rocky substrates. Their chitin exterior ranges in color from dark amber to acid yellow, leading them to resemble oversized lichens. This outer membrane is marked with slits, which expand and contract, producing a distinctive hum. These slits or pores also allow both the release of spores by each colony and the absorption of other colonies' spores. I'm using this term for ease, but are these really seeds or something else? Both the hum and the spore exchange seem to be a part of a complex communication network between individual stalk patches or colonies. However, like earth fungi, the visible part of these stalks may only be a small part of their overall mass. What networks might connect these colonies beneath the ground? Do you need a sample? Can I get you a sample? How do I give you a sample? You may have already taken all of my samples. We'll come back to that. Med subject. Oh. Base user detected. Medical assessment due. Hey, Ellery. You're due for a checkup. Generator active. Huh. Running at 34% efficiency. Tidal turbines active, core stable. Huh. That is a fascinating thing happening here. Observation blister. Sonar system requires crew. Oh, that's what Ellery's for. Activating the systems that I don't know how to use. Jumping into medbay. Base. Lab. How do I add? Did Ellery say that they already added my samples for me? Already added the samples that we took? Spore sample analysis, root sample analysis, study completion required. Yo, there's sketches? I want to see the sketches. Sing stalks are towering fungal stalks that, through swaying, produce a distinctive hum or groan. Part of the stalk ecology found on the Central Reef, the precise role of sing stalks is particularly obscure. Their singing seems to connect with a sonic communication between stalks, as seen from the stalk's use of shrill sacs as an alarm mechanism. But what they are communicating remains unclear. Notably, sing stalks are often coated in sporing fungal growths, which release spores as the stalks sway through the water. These spores, released high up in the water column, cover a large area of the reef. There is something tree-like in the structure of the sing stalks, so much so that they give the impression of an underwater fungal forest, strange and yet familiar. Signal stalks are tall, thin, bubble-coated stalks which are often found beside other stalk colonies. Like other collodies, Calodia? Fungal stalks, I guess, sure. Collus cautus, Collus cantrix, sing stalk, yeah, okay. Collus nuncius, sure. Signal stalks have a chitin exterior, but unlike other species, they feature prominent irising pores that allow them to produce the large bubbles I have named shrill sacs. Through this, signal stalks act as the protectors of stalk colonies, their shrill sacs breaching when predators approach, resulting in a warning screech that causes nearby stalks to retract. This makes them a target for creatures which graze on the stalks, and only some colonies are able to maintain a signal stalk protector. But how do these stalks produce their bubbles? What dictates their growth patterns? Further analysis of their physical products and structure should help. I need bubble samples and tissue samples. Okay. So the only thing I know about is these 3 fungi, which, like, why do we even think they're different fungi? Wouldn't they all be related? Like, they could easily just all be part of the same fungus network. You know, it's not like my arm is a different species from my leg. It's all part of the same human being network. Alright, and then dive map. Ah! The samples! I guess we didn't give them the samples yet. Stalk spore, containing a complex cocktail of minerals and compounds. Lab analysis complete. Taxonomy updated. Further analysis possible. Okay. Now, analyze it again, then. Taxonomy entry updated. What did this do? Further analysis possible. Okay. So now what do we know? Behavior. Analysis of stalk spores has revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. Whoa. That's kind of a big deal. Unique materials? This aspect of the spores and their noticeable exchange between colonies of stocks suggests that these chemical cocktails are part of an information exchange network. Wow, we're going to be doing a lot of reading, aren't we? Like, we are already doing a lot of reading. I guess if I'm interacting with everything via menus, then all I am doing is reading. Alright, it's that kind of game, sure. Some of these spores also appear to be true spores used for the asexual reproduction of stock colonies, suggesting that the information-carrying spores are adapter, modified reproductive spores. Analysis also suggests that stock colonies may possess a high level of intelligence and cognition, and that the messaging provided by the spores is nuanced and even subjectively unique to each colony. Patterns across multiple spores from a single colony even suggest a chemical signature possessed by each stock group. Could these be thought of as stock names? I mean, maybe. Analysis of the stock bark sample has given some new insights into the sing stalks. Their entire biology is compressed into the chitin plates that surround each specimen. They are completely hollow. In fact, rather than being a single large stalk, sing stalks are actually many spirally entwined stalks, which weave together to form a pillar-like shell. The scraping of these stalks as they move against one another produces the stalk's harmonic hum, which may not be a form of communication with other colonies as first thought, and instead a kind of internal metronome, there to synchronize the movements of each individual stalk within the weave of stalks. But if the sing stalks are the bark that surrounds them, this brings with it a new question. What do sing stalks contain? Further analysis is needed. Are we building up a database of stock photos? I mean, it does seem like we're spending a bunch of time stalking all these various fungus. Shrill sac lab analysis shows that they are formed from a coating of mucus sealed around a pressurized mix of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The oxygen shows that the signal stalks are able to absorb oxygen from their surroundings, perhaps through their large pores. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide must be the result of a fermentation process within the stalk itself. This suggests the presence of a fungal symbiote similar to yeast within the stalk, and the possible production of ethanol as a byproduct of this process, though a tissue sample will be necessary to confirm this. Shrill sac production, meanwhile, seems to be a precise art. The pressurization, gas mix, and size of each shrill sac can differ from stalk to stalk, meaning that warnings can be directed to particular colonies and even individual stalks if necessary. We could instead be taking our samples to some kind of stock market. We could. Ah, the free marketplace of, not ideas necessarily, funguses, I suppose. How's it going, Mashat? Welcome. We still haven't unlocked any sketches, though. We need more samples, is what I'm hearing. Okay, so now these are in the base. If I wanted to, I could put them back in the suit, I guess. But these samples have already been taken. Alright, well, I guess we're ready to go, right? All that's left is hit the dive map. So I guess let's hit the dive map. Whoa. Obstruction. Minet's notes mention something called the bloom across this rift. But until we have stronger propulsion, we won't be able to cross it. Sample request. Ah, this is where we need to go to get the samples. Okay, sure. The base has detected a suit transponder at these coordinates. Could this be Minet? We'll have to head into the East Reef to find out. And then this is a place I can send the suit to. Okay. Whoa! Secure protocol oversight active. All privacy protocols revoked. Oh, alright, well, sure. Monet is gone, and she's left behind one hell of a mess. This base is falling apart, cannibalized to build way stations out in the ocean. The communications array sliced away, life support failing. Where did she even commandeer this research base from? There is no way Baikal would have supplied it willingly after what she did to them. What did she call me out here for? To witness her disappearance? Or did she simply want me to encounter, as she did, the impossible life of this ocean? How could it have gone ignored for hundreds of years of exploration and conquest? Wow, real questions. There are too many questions to even begin. All I can do is keep an account of what happens here, so that if I can't answer these questions, someone else might. It'll be weeks, maybe months, until the next ship passes close enough to pick up my shuttle transponder. Until then, I'm alone. This place is unbelievably important, our first contact with life beyond Earth. But something else is happening here too, and I need to know what it is. So if I'm remembering correctly from roughly an hour ago, the player character, not Ellery Voss, but the AI that is supporting Ellery Voss in this situation, is probably Dr. Monet's AI, but Dr. Monet had to do something to us so that we wouldn't get caught by something that Dr. Monet was having to deal with. Maybe, in order, like, it could be that we were jettisoned when Dr. Monet was caught, so that, there would be something available for anybody who came in afterwards to be able to navigate the area with. Because I guess if it weren't for us, Ellery Voss would be still trapped in that suit. Which is weird. Like, I don't understand how Ellery got into that suit to begin with. It sounded like their shuttle crashed somewhere, and they were just like, oh my god, how lucky, a suit, and then jumped in the suit? I don't think I'm exactly clear on what the steps were that resulted in, where we spawned in the tutorial. Alright, I guess we're ready to go. What is this? Nothing. Ah, that's what that is. Alright, well, Ellery might have been napping or whatever, but we're just going, I guess. Hi, Doctor. Alright, now we can go to places. How lucky. But, the suit signal we got was way off to the east, right? So what's up here that we can't get to? I saw something over here. Hang on. Oh, okay. I've already caught that one. Terminal available. Now I'm good. Bear boulders. How are we going to lock our stock in a barrel? It would be difficult. There's not a lot of security measures here. Why do they leave such a clear buffer zone beside it? The Central Reef Way Station lies within a bubble of calm, but just to its north a massive rift brings strong currents through the reef. Layered outcrop. The pale strata of this rock tells an ancient story. Might there be a fossil record within such rocks waiting to be discovered? I don't know. Let's find out. Not directly, no. Northern Passage. Are these rifts and canyons really carved by the currents? Or are they violent fractures now smoothed by erosion? Not me. Protected paths. In the shadow of these huge outcrops, This pass leads towards the rift at the north edge of the reef and its fast-moving waters. This feature rises steeply towards the jagged edge of the reef, splitting the strong currents like the head of an axe. So all of this stuff is like places that I can go towards, but not anything that I can do anything at necessarily. From here, the reef descends into the unseen deep. Spores spiral by in the fast-flowing water. What else lies out there? I don't know. Let's find out. This side of the shelf is sliced at by the planet's oceanic currents. Look at those flecks of organic material. They're being cycled back into the reef's ecosystem, drifting from unseen places out in the ocean. It must be part of some vast process. Do you think we'll ever understand the cycles of this ocean? Sure. You're pretty smart. Mostly. I hope so too. It's just so intimidating. An entire planet of life and just us to study it. It's cool. Random dialogues. Space is scan. Control is scan off. W is set heading. Oh, that's like if this is selected. W, I can mash W and we'll just go. Okay. Calm waters. Sandy shelf. Rift passage. Passage between these rocks lead down to the howling currents of the northern rift, which we cannot go into. Empty shelf. Outside of the shimmering perimeter of the western stalk forest, almost nothing lives or grows on this finger of the reef. The northern rift is the largest of the cuts into the central reef. Crossing it without some way of navigating its currents would be suicide. So you're saying we shouldn't just jump into it. Impressive. The split of the shelf is incredibly wide and deep. I don't have a way to advance the dialogue by keyboard. Those currents would smash us against the rocks if we swam out into the flow. We're going to need better equipment if we want to cross that monster. Strong currents. Flux of spores and other organic material whip past in the current. So you're saying we can't go here. Strong currents. Vector blocked. Okay. I'm gonna head out this way, I guess. This western side of the finger becomes increasingly enclosed by rocky outcrops as it leads towards the shallower water. Some ruined equipment lies in the shelter of two boulders. An early way station site, perhaps? Metal debris. Looks like Monet has had to salvage parts of the base to build what she needed to survive. She must have been here many months before I arrived. What happened here? Can I take the metal debris? Open sand. Across the open sand, I can see the faint shapes of stalk colonies rising up in ordered rows. Glittering stalk. Samples! Yo, I love samples. I don't think this is going to be new samples. I think these are going to be the same samples as we already had. But let's go there anyway. Take some samples. Okay, that's cool, but I can't actually navigate through here, so it doesn't matter appreciably. Patterns of stalks stretch back into the distance. Pathways and terraces of some unknown design. This must be the Western Stalk Forest. I suppose so. Unlike in the southern reef, the stalks here are ordered in curving rows, tightly packed and evenly spaced. Presumably I can't go here until I yell at it. Yep. Get yelled at. This is new. Bloated stalk. These stalks bulge out from their bases. I've started logging data on these strange inflated stalks. They look ill. Bulge out from their bases, forming rounded pulsing growths that look discolored and stretched. Yeah, that's ominous. This growth is bloated and distended, the panels of chitin bulging outwards, and between the seams, something flows within. Something flows within. Ominous. Well, go grab it, I guess. Is there not a sample? I thought this was a sample candidate. Why can't I sample? Hello, I would like to sample? This is also a sample candidate. Oh no, that's the shrill sax. Why can't I take this sample? It says sample candidate. Have I been lied to? I feel like I've been lied to. To the west, the stalks spread in thick pathways, curving between strangely corroded stones. Yeah. Yeah, there's not a circle. It's interesting, because there's not a circle here to indicate that it is a sample candidate. But by clicking on it, it says it's a sample candidate. So somebody is lying to me. I just don't know who. The membrane of these stalks is thin enough to be translucent in areas, stretched to breaking point by whatever is inside. These curving avenues of stalks seem to mark a loose perimeter around each bloated growth. Why? As they curve south, the stalks meet the rising wall of rock which shelters the southern reef. Should we go this way? I like the idea of going this way. A pulse can be felt running through the shelf from the north, making the sand ripple in small, soft waves. Okay, if things are causing earthquakes, maybe don't go towards the earthquakes? I mean, that sounds like a sensible thing to me, but what do I know? When alarmed, these stalks burst open, releasing their toxic contents into the local water. Could they be defending themselves? Strangely pulsing growth sits in a strangely shaped clearing. What causes the stalks to grow like this? There's something I'm not seeing here. You just think everything is strange, don't you, Ellery? There's no sample here either, even though it says sample candidate. If these stalks are isolating the bloats, perhaps it is because they are dangerous to the colony itself. The pulsing, pumping rhythm of these stalks' contractions suggests that some process is happening inside of them. Some process. Yeah, I can't go anywhere here yet. Clearing these stalks is a delicate task, and I hope that their retraction is temporary and not some terminal state. Well, now I gotta go get more samples again. More shrill samples. Shrill sack, delicious. Suppose as long as I'm harvesting shrill sacks, we might as well go this way. Between the rocks and the stalks. Rocks, stalks, blocks, and lingerie. A thin, sandy passage leads towards a clearing. Sure. If you say so. Stalk clearing. A small clearing between the avenues of stalks. To the west, their ordered rows dissolve into the chaos of the southern forest. Why is the southern forest west of us? Something's yelling. Spore catcher. Agile, jet-propelled creatures. I'm gonna call these spore catchers, as they're so eager to gather the stalk spores. Okay. Agile, jet-propelled creatures with colorful mantles, found hidden amongst reef stalk colonies, feeding on their spores. That's great. Clouded shell. Fragments of a shell, recently shed, glint in the sand like shards of cloudy glass. What creature left these here? Oh, we can take samples. Hell yeah. Animal. 10%. It's too bad the shrill sacks don't give us power. Since that would be a easy way to refill, since there's a lot of shrill sack samples. And the other samples seem a little more important. I guess these samples not so much, since I've already gotten them analyzed. Signal stock. Yeah, alright, more sacks. Bloated stock. Bloated growth sample candidate. The rock behind this growth looks as if it has been melted. Its layers whirl in distorted forms, revealing a metallic core. Okay, but like, are you? Yeah, you're still not a sample candidate, even though the description says sample candidate. You're just lying to me. How dare you? The stalks seem to be growing around the bloated growths, isolating them from each other. What purpose does this serve? A good question. Like, I haven't been here. I'm not expecting anything new to show up here, but it sometimes feels like navigating to a node every once in a while causes something beneficial to happen. Stalks form a loose perimeter around this growth, which bulges unsettlingly as if it is about to burst. Ooh. Okay. It would be easy to become lost in the complex patterns traced by these rows of stalks. I wonder where they lead. Well, we'll do some finding out. Oh, good. I can get more sacks here. I'm slowly running out of power, though. I wonder what happens if I run out of power completely. Is that a game over? To the west stands the final pathway of stalks before the colony fades out into the sand and rock. Okay. Colony's edge. Sure. Reef bloat. That's what we're calling it? Tell me more, Ellery. That's enough data to log and classify these inflated stacks. I'm going to call them reef bloats. Large bloated stalks that burst easily, expelling the toxic microbes held inside their bodies. Their movements suggest unseen processes. Ominous. These bloats pulse unnervingly, as if at any moment they might burst open, choking the water with a microbial cloud. I think it would also be a crowd. It would be a crowd of microbes. Oh, we're actually spending oxygen now. What happened? Did we go too far from things that have oxygen? The side of the colony loops back towards its center, leading deeper into the stalks. This line of stalks marks the western edge of the colony. In this direction, a rock wall rises up beyond the sandy shelf. Okay. Oh! Sampling became available here. $30. Dang, that's a lot of power. Toxic microbial colony found inside bloated stacks. Maybe it's because by being next to a bloat, I can pop it with a shrill sack? Interesting. I wasn't expecting to have to interact with them, but I guess it makes some amount of sense given that my ability to interact with things is limited to exactly putting things onto the map. So, sure. Yo, Drew the Damager. What's up, man? Thank you for the raid. How's it going? I hope you're having a good day. What were you up to? What were you up to? Yo, and Shadowed Mage? Yeah, that's not a surprise. Welcome back, Shadowed. Thank you for the 98 months of continued support. Welcome back to the Adventuring Party. And Eric, what's up? Never-ending nightmares. What is never-ending nightmares? We are playing a game called In Other Waters. I am acting as the suit AI for someone exploring a other world that has a bunch of aquatic life. So we're taking samples of stuff and reading a lot of descriptions. There's a lot of reading is what's going on. The western wall rises up towards the shallowest part of the shelf, just meters below the surface of this planet-spanning ocean. Well, okay. Go that way, I guess. Maybe there's something cool happening. Dark Cave. Don't have to invite me twice. Below the steep wall, a dark crescent-shaped sinkhole cuts into the shelf. Fallen rocks from the wall are strewn across the sand. Yeah, I'll check out a dark cave. Is it dank? I mean, it's underwater, so it's gotta be. Finished 2 indie horror games. Never-Ending Nightmares was good, and Demonology was a game. There are so many games that are games. So I think I understand where you're coming from here. World Passage. World? How do you pronounce that word?
World.
Oh my god, you pronounce the H. I hate it. Whorled passage, if you must. The walls of the passage twist inward with thick veins of growth. We must be heading beneath the stalks. Alright. Doesn't sound like a good idea, but whatever. Cool whip. Yup. Beneath the bloated roots, I guess. Thick bloated roots poke through the rock wall and something pulses within them. This is a rare chance to sample the stalk root network. Well, okay. I should probably do that. So I have room to take this sample. Oh, what a powerful sample. 2020. Bloat root. Bloated roots, sampled from beneath a stalk forest. Well, we are running out of power, so I should probably head back to base. But I kind of want to find out what happens if I just actually run out of power. But hey, we got some good samples out of this, so that's cool. Good thing I kept some things. Wait, can I just... Connection available. Okay, so I can just link up now that I have turned on the waypoint, and leave. So I probably just auto leave if I run out of power. Which is fair, I guess. That Family Guy scene? Yeah. I mean, I knew what you were talking about instantly, so... Open sesame. This is samples now? More samples? Give me the samples? The bloated stalks seem to be precisely spaced out between the stalks. Are we damaging this colony by disturbing them? Maybe. Some vein or root must run through this spot as the sand rumbles with unseen movements. Are all the bloats connected? That would be a very extensive root network. I mean, I guess it's not impossible. It seems unlikely that the bloats are simply individually diseased stalks. Their growth patterns suggest a system, a process. Maybe they're like zits. Beyond these stalks, I can see a sheer ridge rising up to the north. With its chalky covering melted away by the bloat, this rock has a dull metallic sheen, spectrums of light reflecting across its surface. I'm just taking samples of this stuff and it is literally melting rock underwater? How is that safe? Doesn't seem like a good idea. If I do this... It didn't pop this. How much does that matter to me? Not a whole lot. North of here, an angular ridge ascends, cutting the shelf in two. The only way further north is to cross the rift to the east of here. We just go over the ridge, cutting the shelf in two. Like you're in a suit, just go over it? No? Maybe you can't go over it in the suit because the suit is aquatic? Sure, I'll believe that. That sounds like a feasible explanation. That sounds like an explanation that can be feased. Tucked into the side of this corroded rock, a pile of stones with worn holes sit in the sand. Within a hole, something glitters. Is it gold? I have heard that not all that glitters is gold, but I'm not sure I believe it. Oh, the thing went flying. I don't know what it was, but it just went flying past. Maybe if it comes back, we can scan it. Oh, it's another one of the thing that eats the spores. Yeah, okay. Whoa. It's eggs. Heck yeah. Get all the eggs. An egg sampled from a spore-lined nest. Sure. Behind this tall stalk, layers of thick growth surround a maze of rocks, blocking the passage back east. Really? You tell me I can't go east from here? I don't believe you. Is another sample? But if I sample, I'm going to have to get rid of one of the other things. A lot of the other things. Oh, these are shrill sacks. I'm full. Yes, correct. I should probably make room for another shrill sack or two. Shrill sacks are important. Here, have some stalk spores. Just some vanilla spores. Ah, yeah, it attracts the little guys. Briefly. Oh, there really isn't any way through here. Okay. Great. And I'm keeping all this other stuff in my inventory, I guess. Okay, so I can swap spaces if they're right next to each other? No. Why can't I swap the spaces? Why can't I just put this next to the other thing? Why does it highlight this, though? Spark colony. Toxic microbial colony found inside bloated stalks. Oh, I bet I can use that for something. Like, surely that's not just power. They've already told me that this is, like, toxic enough to melt rocks. Maybe I can use it to melt things. I bet that's a thing. Alright, let's wander around and waste some more power. Nothing in that direction, huh? Okay. Oh no, I'm running out of power. Listen, game, if I thought that was a problem, you'd be the first to know. And then this thing's scattered when I shrill sacked. Yeah, this seems like a defense mechanism. Like, not just retracting the things, but also trying to explode whatever is dangerous and nearby. And I've already been out here. I think this is the cave? Can't zoom out any more than I've already zoomed out. Ooh, we're running out of oxygen. Ooh, because I'm next to the spores. Ah, I can't get oxygen when I'm next to the spores. Okay. Well then, let's get a move on. Want to run out of power, not breath. And I'm no longer using oxygen now, even though my oxygen supplies are low. What did this say this was? I think this is more shrill sacs. It is definitely more shrill sacs. Which I can use to restore oxygen. There's one more. Store some more oxygen. Interesting. I guess I spent enough time away from these areas that they've regrown, because I've clearly been through here, right? It's been selected. I don't know that it's been navigated through, but I've clearly been in this area before. And it seems like the only way to here would be through. I think I exploded something. So going over here is gonna put me in danger from the spores. And that is an indicator that oxygen is a problem, so we can go get more shrill sacs. Interesting. Okay, so that's cool. That is a neat interaction, definitely. And potentially gives us some information about what we can do with that spore sample. Spark colony. Or maybe we don't do anything with that spore sample and it's just a spore sample. That's also okay. Full. Well, okay. Not for long. I should have popped this open, actually. Rather than giving myself more oxygen. This is interesting. Oh, I guess it's showing how much it's gonna fill? No, that's way... This is way less than 10%. I think that's less than 10%. I guess if that's 50 and that's 25... Maybe that is 10%. No. No, that's less than 10%. Where else says 10%? That's weird. I've already gone down here, it would seem. But that's okay, maybe? Oh, yeah, I remember this. I guess I'll take some more shrill sacs. Is that gonna hit this? No, barely out of range. Lucky. Lucky. Yeah, I kind of want to deliberately run myself out of power and see what happens. Can't go this way, okay. Well, I feel like I have fully explored all of the area out here that I can, so this was productive. So I guess we're just gonna run back and forth until I run out of power and see what happens. I'm gonna save first, actually. Oh, there's not like a separate save. Alright, whatever. Do it anyway. I can't... What's going on? The suit is shutting down! Pilot at risk. Operator override active. Extracting suit. Locating safe zone located, rebooting. Okay, so that's about what I expected, is it just automatically pulls me back to whatever. Oh! What happened? Are you back online? Yeah, alright, I'll agree. Good. I think the suit's preservation protocols kicked in. It brought us back to this way station. That is a little unexpected, but okay. That was lucky. Please, I need you to keep an eye on our oxygen and power. Let's not do that again. Now, where were we? Alright, so I kept all my samples, which is good. Okay, so just being forced back to the way station is really not much of a penalty at all. And in fact, death warping is maybe useful to do sometimes. Alright, well, we have all these samples. We should probably return the samples. And go read some lab logs. Resyncing with Baikal OS. Downtime 4.2 hours. Sure. Eve's in the lab. Ellery. Ellery Voss is in the lab. That's good, probably. We don't need the shrill sax, but I guess we'll send him over anyway. Okay, yeah, great. No, of course not. Nothing plot related has happened. No reason to think anything would have changed yet. Oh, I have to actually... So this is a new thing that we found, a spore catcher. And then I can take some samples that may or may not be related to the spore catcher. Spore catchers are small, soft-bodied creatures which move quickly through the water by using siphon jets. Their mantles, striped with bright colors that shift as they swim, allow the creatures to modify their movement through the water with precise flapping motions. Watching them navigate the water is hypnotic, their rapid turns and loops showing incredible agility, flitting through the water like a bat or a bird. Spore catchers use this wide range of movement to pursue the various fungal spores that are produced by the reef's stalks. Spore catchers seem to be highly selective about which spores they wish to consume, suggesting that analysis of the stalk spores might tell us more about the spore catcher's behavior and diet. And now we have the reef bloat, Collus tumidus. It's not a tumor! Reef bloats are large bloated stalks that can be found at the western border of the reef. Intimidating in their size and distorted shape, they resemble inflated sporing mushrooms, covered in nodules of rampant fungal growth. Their membrane, which is stretched by the bloating process to an almost translucent sheen, is darker than a typical stalk, making the stalks themselves a shade of sickly orange. What role the bloats play in the reef's stalk network is not immediately obvious, but their pulsing pumping motion suggests that the bloats are either processing or producing the toxic microbes that are contained within their fragile membranes. Without analyzing the microbial colonies themselves, this will be difficult to ascertain. Oh, Fortunately for everybody involved, I have said microbial colonies. So let's do a sample analysis. I think I've already done this one, but we'll do it anyway. Sample already analyzed. Aha. Ah, now it's got a line through it, so it knows. Great. Spore catcher taxonomy updated. Okay. Reef bloat taxonomy updated. Lab analysis error, no relevant taxonomy entries found. Oh. This one I've already analyzed, right? Further analysis possible. Okay, so this one's not scratched off, though. I don't know what that means. Reef bloat entry updated. I guess I'll just leave this here. The other ones I'll, the ones that I haven't fully analyzed, I'll leave here. The other ones I can bring back with me to the robot and use as power sources, since I can burn these things for power and or oxygen if necessary. Does it mean further analysis? Further analysis possible. What does that mean? Clearly not doing anything with it right now, regardless of how much further analysis is possible. Analysis of the spore catcher egg shows a strong correlation between the minerals it contains and the minerals present within the catcher's favorite spores. It seems that through the spores, stalks are able to affect the catcher's egg production, therefore controlling the volume, traits, and behavior of catchers within any area of the reef. Huh. In a sense, the stalks have domesticated the catchers, leaving the two intrinsically linked as species. But the question of what the catchers provide the stalk remains. Do catchers serve a specific purpose, consuming unwanted or incorrectly configured spores, for example? Or are they kept for other reasons, because they're pretty? Could the catchers be kept by the stalks for their companionship and social use, just as humans keep pets? Yeah, probably. I love the idea of sentient funguses keeping, like, underwater hummingbirds as pets. That's really neat, actually. Feeding them with their own cast-off spores is very interesting as well. Especially if those are spores being used for communication, right? It's like if you could feed your pet dog by yelling at it. Analysis of the stalk bark sample has given some new insights into the sing stalks. Their entire biology is compressed into the chitin plates. Oh, I've already read this one. Why was this highlighted? Yeah, I've already read this one too. Wait, no, have I? So they are formed from a coating of mucus. I read the coating of mucus thing. Yes, I've read this one. Laboratory analysis of the microbial colony is found within reef bloats. Spark colonies, as I have come to call them, shows that these microbes are not of a group typically associated with stalk colonies. In fact, spark colonies appear to be made up of highly modified algae with a wide metabolic range, able to consume carbon dioxide, oxygen, and metal, and toxic compounds with equal ferocity when supplied with a source of light. When metabolizing these substances, spark colonies produce a regular flow of charged electrons, making them ideal for use within a microbial fuel cell, or MFC. Their suitability for this use is suspicious. Are these really naturally occurring microbes? Why are they found only within reef bloats? Something isn't right here. Maybe it's designed as like electric defense. You know? Maybe it's intended to be released when there's danger and then it shocks the danger. It's an underwater Pikachu. Finding a root sample from a reef bloat has brought with it the confirmation that reef bloats are not manufacturing spark colonies, but instead modifying, metabolizing, and processing them. So the algae already exists, and the reef bloats are just messing with the algae. Analysis of the bloat root system has shown the presence of microbes at various stages of modification, including those that had been entirely detoxified and their rampant metabolism neutered. Oh. Oh, okay, so it's the opposite. The reef bloat isn't making them, it's getting rid of them. And they just happen to be there in the reef bloat as kind of a side effect, not intended to be a defense mechanism when you yell at them. But, you know, if you're holding a bunch of toxic samples and you get yelled at, you drop all your toxic samples. I guess that is an accidental defense mechanism? Sure. Reef bloats are not diseased stocks then, but powerful biological engines which are fueled by their local stock colonies. The scale of this operation suggests that for the stocks, the spark microbes are a significant threat. Oh. This is what the reef bloats look like, huh? I need a banana for scale. How big are these? Bulging, discolored plates. Love that. Microbial release stages. Kind of splits at these chitin seams, and then lets all of the microbes loose. Neat. Cool, the game does have art. I was kind of expecting menus forever. Observation blister. We could send the Ellery down here, maybe. Or we could just get out. Bringing these back now that they've been analyzed. We're leaving. Hang on. What has been analyzed? What hasn't been analyzed? Excuse me. There we go. Oh, it doesn't show the slashes anymore. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so we're leaving this thing, the shell, and we're leaving the stalk bark. Okay. And the rest of this is shrill sacs and fuel. Cool. All right. I am, I think in need of a little bit more caffeine than usual. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to take a quick break, maybe pop into the bathroom and use it for its intended purpose, and come back with some more soda, and we'll keep playing. But in the meantime, okay, so I think we are ready to go diving again, right? Gonna go exploring some more and see what the options are. I don't know. This still has things. Like, it still seems to want me to read things. I thought I looked at these things, but okay. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong, I guess. No, all right. They haven't quite figured out how notifications are supposed to work, I guess. Maybe their AI is also broken. So I think what we're going to be doing is heading out to the dive map. Sample request. Reef stalks. Spore. We found stalk spores way down in the southern reef, but there must be some in this stalk forest too. Reef stalks root. Sing stalk tissue. And then this is our goal. This is kind of our next plot goal, is out here. But there's only one place that we can dive to at this point, and that is the Central Reef Way Station. But yeah, checking out these spores and whatever these things are seems like a good idea to me. So let's go see if we can find out whatever those things are. Although I wish we had this map available kind of all the time. That would be helpful. But I suppose... oh well. Alright, so the direction we are going is this way. This is all territory that I've been to before. But on a kind of broad level, we want to head into this area down here and see if we can find that spore. Want to pick up some more garbage, some more shrill sacks in order to be able to get through here. This seems like a reasonable direction to head, I think. Click, click, harvest. Click, harvest. Click, click, harvest. So we're looking for... we're looking for something that has samples. I guess we couldn't go through here before, maybe? Unclear whether we could have... whoa, that's new. Stalk Scraper. Large creature with a translucent shell and jointed legs. Naming these stalk scrapers for obvious reasons. Check my notes back at the base. For swimming and feeding, grazes on the membranes of reef stalks. Okay. Is this the thing I was looking for? Maybe this is the thing I was looking for. The calcified stalk. This is fungal 15. It's a different thing? No, this is more... this is stalk bark. We don't need that. Maybe we do need that? Maybe we need more stalk bark? I'm not sure if this is the thing that it was trying to get me to sample. You know what? Let's sample it anyway. Maybe a new stalk bark sample will do something. And then we'll head this way as much as possible. Because we do need to head out towards this direction. But this feels like it's heading back towards the place that we started in. And that doesn't seem like it's super useful. Well, we sure can't go this way. can't push any further north here without better propulsion. All right. I guess we'll just keep exploring this area and see if there's anything cool here. Stock patch. Is this shrill sax or... No, it's something else. Stock spores. Okay, no. Those are fully examined. Yeah, I think this is just back to the starting spawn. I'm not sure if there's anything that we can do here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anywhere else that we can go through there. So this is not that relevant to my interests. So we can head back up and what? Head back up and what? This, I guess, something to the east that we needed to go to, but so we'll see how much east it lets me go, I guess. Considering I can't go through here. Feeding grounds. Creatures are grazing on and living among the stalks, forming a complex ecosystem. Okay, yeah, that is a place that we have been to before. Pick up a few more sack things. That would be helpful. This is more stalks, sure. Okay, yeah, I don't think we've gone out this way, maybe. Upper forest. It's hard because I don't remember where I've been. I know what areas I've read the descriptions for, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I've been there. Piled stones. Vaguely recall being here. Thought there might be a way out that way. Yeah, this is just back to the waypoint. Concerning. But alright, I guess we'll just go back to the waypoint, since there doesn't seem to be anything else to do here. But, like, we've tried going up and east, and that hasn't gotten us anywhere either. Like, there hasn't been anything that we can do over here, right? Maybe there was, and I just didn't explore it fully? Ah! Okay, cool. We found something new to do. More glittering stock samples. That's great. We're loaded, though. Split gullies. These gullies lead among the tall outcrops of the northern edge, to the currents and open waters beyond. Let's make our way east to the source of that transponder signal. I don't know what to expect. If the transponder is Minae's, there's some history between us, but I haven't seen her in years. Not since... Look, you don't need to worry about it. Let's just find her. Alright, what if I want to go north instead? Like, I hear you when you say east, but what if I want to go north? Strong current. These stalks block the gully, but also the strong currents behind. Even if we clear them, those currents will still block our passage. Okay, I guess we're not going that way. Fine. I'll go the way you told me to go. Always getting railroaded towards plot, man. Hard life. Here, the gully opens out onto one of the rifts, cutting deep into the bedrock of the reef. Alright, let's go. There, look! A cave entrance cut into the side of the rift. It should allow us to bypass the rift, although I'm not sure where we'll emerge. Okay, if you say so. Is that this? Hidden shelf. Protected by sheer sides of the rift, this shelf leads down to a small cavern entrance in the reef wall. And this? Rift edge. Okay, let's check out the... Aw, I can't check out the rift edge? Terrible news. Alright, we'll go into the cavern then. Curving passage. The round mouth of the cave stretches away into the rock. Stalks hum quietly in the dark. I'd say it's ominous, but I'm pretty sure this game is very opposed to jump scares and death. Like, there might be scary things that you can't get near, but I don't think there's anything that's actually going to eat you. Unnatural cave. Oh. There's a strange evenness to the walls of this cave, almost as if it was a vast borehole drilled into the reef. That sounds like we're going to find some animal that does a thing. Standard reef stalks. The stalks even seem to get down here. Perhaps they are less reliant on sunlight than I initially thought. We are deep in the rock now. What formed these hollowed out caverns with their strange undulating walls? What, like, currently undulating? Like, their walls are currently moving? Or just they have a wave pattern to them? Because one of these is far more worrisome than the other. I wonder how the stalks survive without sunlight. Maybe they're fed by the forest above. What do you think? No, I don't think so. It's true that we've seen no root system, but I don't think that eliminates the possibility. More glittering stalks. Okay. So this is probably just like a little corner to refill on sacks if I need sacks. Oh, there's also something else going on here, though. Exposed roots. A cave-in has severed some sections of the stock's root network, stretching down from the forest above. What can they tell us? A good question. Well, I need to... Let's see. Stock bark. No, I'm keeping that one. That's 30. It's 20. I'll use the one that is only power to clear up space. I guess I could also have popped a shrill sack, but... I don't know what this is, but we are taking a sample. Stalk root. A tangle of silken roots from a stalk colony. Carbon enriched. Cool. The cave starts to get tight here, and in the shadows ahead, stalks crowd the tunnel. Ah, so I'm going to have to yell at them, is what you're telling me. Mesh of stalks. The stalks here are thick and intertwined. Underground, in the stark light of the headlamps, they resemble brittle, oversized worms. Alright, well, I'm capable of doing that thing. Bright light from the east of this large cavern is broken up by tall pillars, casting strips of light and dark across the smooth walls. These pillars punctuate the cavern, stalks crowded around their bases. They support the vast weight of the reef above. Sporing stalk. These domed stalks are pumping out clouds of short-lived spores. They look like oversized mushrooms. These stalks are filling the water with spores. We should start logging information on them. I was just about to... Yeah, no, I agree. Mostly. These bloated creatures are pumping clouds of spores out into the water. Around them, stalk colonies rise out of the sand. Okay. And I can get a sample. Good, I love samples. Well, whatever it is it's doing, it's not costing me oxygen, so we're cool. These spores are different. The stalks nearby seem to be stimulated by them. Could these spores be used to make stalks extend? To bring them out of hiding? We should test them out on a retracted colony. Okay. I suppose. Clump of spores which seems to stimulate stalk growth. Does, in fact, stimulate stalk growth. Well, now we know a little bit more about stalks, I suppose. I guess these are stonks, since it makes them grow. Going to need another copy of this one. Soothe Spore, we're calling it. Okay. And I gotta remember to keep at least one on hand so that I can take it home with me. Unlike other stalk spores, which survive until they settle, the spores from these stalks dissolve moments after they're released. Is that relevant? These stalks seem to be shriveling up. Is it because they're too exposed to the rift's withering currents? It's because they are bored to tears, and they require stimulating stonks to entertain them. These sporing stalks seem to require very particular conditions to grow. I've seen so few elsewhere on the reef. Large growth seems to be sustaining this colony with their spores. Perhaps they carry nutrients, even chemical signals. Ah, Shrillsax. Yep, this long stalk sits quietly beside a dying colony. Soon there won't be anything left for it to protect from scavengers. I don't know that I need to do anything like that. We do need to break one of these, though. Maybe this one. So I can track down another one of these things. Far side of the cavern narrows into darkness. I can feel the faint pulse of a distant current ahead. Well, that's as much room as I have. A current must have once run down this tunnel, scraping the walls into smooth lines. Now the stalks block the flow. The tunnel ahead is thick with stalks, scraping the ceiling with their rounded tips. I guess that means it is time to yell at them. Light filters in from a large opening, making the spores drifting in the water glitter like sparks. Are they spark spores? Like the dangerous ones? Tucked behind this pillar, perhaps this stalk grew here as an early warning for predators coming through the cave mouth. Look, those stalks in the cave mouth, they're retracted. Perhaps if we could make them extend, they would block the current? Oh, that's the gimmick. There's currents. This cave mouth ahead leaves this passage exposed to the full force of the northern current. Blocking it somehow will help us pass. So what you're saying is, I gotta do this, and then I can travel. Okay. They block the current. These spores encourage them to extend and fill the tunnel. With these soothe spores, we can control the stalks to our advantage. This will be useful. Another of these growths. I don't know why I wanted to give it a soft S. Another of these growths, supporting a smaller colony at the cavern's edge. Is there a logic to where these grow? A pattern? EV, you have asked that so many times. There's a definite correlation between struggling stalk colonies and these sporing stalks. Are they helping support these colonies? Covered shelf. Tucked into the rift wall, this shelf allows protection from the fast-flowing water cutting through the rock into the heart of the reef. Look, out in the rift. A retracted stalk colony. If we can get them to extend, they'll provide shelter from the current. Noted. Well, okay. Let's go get some more, soothe spores. Spattered with spores, the wall here feels the full force of the current. Perhaps it can be slowed upstream somehow. Somehow? If only there was a way to slow the current upstream somehow. Even this close to the wall, the darkness of the deep rift is intimidating. A huge slit in the face of this world. How deep does it go? A real question. If the current can be slowed or navigated, this is the place to do it, where the rift narrows and a gap opens up on both sides. So, like, here exactly, is what you're telling me? Currents slice down through the rift from the north here. Crossing is going to be difficult unless their flow can be slowed further up. A huge pillar sits out from the wall here, its top caked in retracted stalks. A golden garden waiting to emerge. Alright. Fix this problem for me. This small opening in the wall provides a little shelter from the howling rift, allowing some stalks to take up root here. We're across. Thank you, stalks! Excuse you, thank you, AI! Oh, and thank you to you, too. You're welcome. Another smooth tunnel leads out towards the light. They do always tell me to go to the light, so that makes sense. Circle of warm light shows this tunnel opens out onto the upper shelf of the East Reef. What lies above? Only one way to find out. Stalks. Stalk canopy. These stalks are twisted together into a huge canopy. Incredible. These canopies are spectacular. I'll start logging observations and see what we can find out about them. I was just finding out about them. They're pulsing as the pores across their surface open and close. Oh, that's what this is. That's hypnotizing. Bright petals. Alright, is this a new thing also? These are beautiful plants. Single petals shifting in the sunlight. Let's start logging data on them. Yes. Let's. How about you do that? These bright, wide petals appear to be photosynthetic plants. They float on long stems, shifting and swaying in the water. These plant-like creatures seem unrelated to the reef's stalks, their soft petals waving on thin stems. Alright, we'll take a sample. Feels good to be out in the sunlight again. Let's head northeast along this finger of the reef. The transponder is at the tip. Okay, but like first... While each plant seems to have a single wide petal, they group together, forming fields of blooms, all angled towards the sun. Oh, hey, there's a way station up here. That's convenient. Let's go check that out, and then we'll come back to whatever this is. Still sands. The fractured outcrops all around break up the worst of the northern current, protecting this sandy shelf. The coloration of these canopies is much lighter than other stalks. They glow pale yellow in the light of Glias's 3 suns. The petals seem to shimmer as they twist and open. It's difficult to tell if this is involuntary or part of the plant's own movement. This doesn't seem like it'll take me to the waypoint, so let's head this way. Stalk structure. This towering canopy of woven stalks pulsates in the soft current, the sunlight slipping through the gaps in its branches. High up in the wide canopy, I can see that the stalks are twisted around strange ribbed growths. What are they holding up there? On some petals, there is a thick clump of pollen on the lower part. I wonder how this is dispersed. It seems too heavy to float away. Shimmer blooms. Wide, single-petal plants that come in a variety of hues. I'm gonna name these plants shimmer blooms for the way they catch the sunlight. Okay. They appear to be primarily photosynthetic and produce a heavy, furry-looking pollen. I wish I could share these discoveries with Monet. There's still so much to say. Shimmering field. More samples? Alright, I guess. Bright petals line this part of the reef, shimmering and swaying, parting easily as I pass among their delicate forms. Alright, well, pop that one, I guess. And then take a sample. Bright pollen. Ah, I already have this, is what you're telling me. Great. Alright, tell me about reef caps. With their strong resemblance to terrestrial mushrooms, I'm going to call these reef caps. Domed mushroom-like stalks which appear to support struggling stalk colonies with a supply of special spores. Oh, it's the special guy. Yeah, okay, sure. This canopy has many gaps between its higher stalks, as if something has fallen out or been removed from it. Fed by spores, shielded by a colony of stalks, this part of the reef seems to have fostered the ideal conditions for its own survival. Well, that's good. Probably. Is that another way station ahead? Yeah, welcome to the present. Good job catching up. Manet must have built them all across the reef. In the center of this shelf is a beautiful clearing, screened from currents and predators. No wonder Manet set up a way station here. To the way station! Table stock. Sure. I've named these table stalks after the table corals they remind me of. I'll log my notes back at the base. In the scattered shadows of golden canopies and knee-deep in shimmering petals, this way station sits silent. Well, let's go investigate the way station. Okay, open up the terminal, see what data we can scrape from this place. Sure. I love map data. The logs suggest Manet was using this as some kind of staging ground for expeditions over the drop-off. You mean Manet didn't clear the logs this time? Wow. She was looking for something out in the ocean. Something deep from the descents she logged here. Manet doesn't do things at random. The way stations, the research base, this is calculated. I feel like we're already 10 steps behind her. We've barely even started. Well, yes, that's what puts us 10 steps behind her. That's how journeys work. We're at the start of the journey. Let's get to that suit transponder. It isn't far from here. If we head straight north to the shelf's edge, it should be there. Boy, wouldn't that be lucky. We're going home first, though. I've got some samples to turn in, and some dialogues to read. Keeping the shrill sack. Everything else can stay out here. I guess I should read what we've learned first. Arthropelta, jointed shells. Stalk scrapers are large, translucent shelled creatures with a distinctive swimming motion, which feed primarily on stalk colonies. Surprisingly nimble despite their size, stalk scrapers use some of their modified limbs to swim through the water, and others to scrape away the chitinous membrane of the stalks. This is tolerated by the stalks to some degree, though they will also deploy shrill sacks to scare the scrapers away. Stalk scrapers seem to be one of the more socially active of the reef creatures, and will call to each other when grazing or when frightened. Each specimen has a unique cloud pattern on its shell. I wonder how these are formed, what their significance is within communities. Good question. Pale yellow canopies formed from many stalks intertwined together, which reach impressive heights. Table stalks are part of the reef's many interlocking species of stalks, although these individuals can only be found in the eastern reef. There they tower over the other creatures, providing dappled shade for the life that grows around them. One of the notable features of table stalks is the rhythmic opening and closing of their pores, which provides a steady flow of water beneath their canopies. This seems to be highly beneficial to the growth of other species, with most table stalks being surrounded by many types of stalks and other species entirely. I guess if they, filter the water for nutrients, then this would be a necessary thing. Also notable are the ball-shaped growths of differing sizes, which sit high in the table stalk's canopies. Sampling these might help us understand the table stalks better. Yeah, it might. Reef cap. Ugh. Large domed stalks, which, like terrestrial mushrooms, release spores from gills on the underside of the cap. In the wider stalk ecology, reef caps appear to play the role of emergency response, growing in areas where the stalk colonies are failing or are heavily predated upon, and proceeding to shower them with spores. However, these spores seem to differ from those released by other species of stalk in that they quickly dissolve when expelled. Analyzing these spores is important to better understanding the reef cap's role. Are they reproductive spores, tasked with adding newly seeded stalks to existing colonies? Or nutrient spores, intended to boost the health of dying or diseased individuals? Neither! They're romance novels, which excites the spores and makes them stand up. I definitely understand how fungal growth works. Shimmer blooms are single-petaled plants found primarily in the sheltered waters of the East Reef. As they produce pollen as well as photosynthesize, I have classified the visible portion of these plants as petals, though they could also be thought of as leaves, serving both functions simultaneously. Shimmer blooms can be green, like most terrestrial plants, however they can also be found to be yellow, red, or purple in color. The image of a patch of blooms is a beautiful one, and as they shift in the soft currents, they often seem to shimmer. Hence the name. Sure. The lower part of their single petal features many small stamens, which produce a fluffy, clumped pollen. Analysis of this pollen may provide some insight into their life cycle. If only we could do that thing. If only we had some way to analyze all of the various things. Yes, taxonomy updated. Does this work yet or no? Multiple taxonomy entries updated. I see. The stalk bark couldn't be analyzed until there was one of the other things in here. Reef stalk updated. Shiny shimmer blooms updated. And reef caps updated. Great. Continue the updates. We love updates. Oh, the stalk scraper got updated because we analyzed their food. I see. Let's see. The bark scraping. Yeah, well, that's pretty good. Analysis of stalk bark shows that it is chitin-based, as suspected, containing glucose and high levels of polysaccharides. This makes it an ideal food source for the scrapers, but not only this, it makes stalk membrane a vital substance for lichen scraper shell formation. The more stalk membrane consumed, the larger and thicker a scraper shell will become, which explains the variance in scraper shell size and translucency. Going further, shells may also be markers of a stalk scraper's importance within the community. A larger shell means a more effective grazer, therefore a more preferable partner. Further analysis of scraper shells is needed to continue this line of inquiry. How big are these things? I have an image of, like, sea turtle, but maybe they're bigger or smaller than that? Chemical analysis of a stalk scraper shell confirms that not only are they made from stalk membrane materials, Their distinctive cloudy coloration comes from stalks too. Stalk coloration, like most fungal coloration, is reflective of the local water acidity and the medium the fungus grows in. This variance of amber, orange, yellow, and even green pigments is passed directly to scraper shells when consumed, resulting in beautiful whorls and blobs of color. A scraper's shell is a living record of every stalk colony it is fed on, and therefore a marker of territory and social standing. I guess. Scraper shells could be used to help study the entire reef and its shifting ecosystem, each one a chemical map of the local history, readable for those who can learn the significance of its forms. Oh! It's like a horseshoe crab or something. Or like, it's got a big shell on top, and then a fleshy underside. For some value of fleshy, maybe. Swimming limbs, scraping limbs, leg extension points, cloud markings. Huh. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know. I was expecting. I don't know. I guess I didn't know what scraping limbs meant, but now I know. Close analysis of stalk root networks reveals something surprising. The root networks are in fact part of a symbiote, a different fungal species entirely, which exists within the stalk's bodies. Oh, right. Because they mentioned for at least one thing that the stalk chitin is the stalk. Like, that's the entity. The chitin on the outside. And it's hollow in the middle. This fungal symbiote provides a carbon exchange network, which runs through the bedrock of the reef, connecting all colonies in a single web. This symbiote also produces the spores which the stalks use to communicate, but these spores are edited by the stalks themselves to act as reproductive agents, information carriers, and chemical delivery systems. If the stalks are able to edit the genetic signature of these spores and their parent species, their intelligence and complexity must be way beyond what I previously theorized. Close analysis of stalk spore language could reveal an entire corpus of communication. Are there stalk jokes, stalk histories, or even stalk literatures? Yeah, totally. We've already run into their romance novels. Oh. Lichal growths, irising pores, chitin plate boundaries. Input pore, output pore. If you say so. I guess an input pore for reading spores? Spores go in the pores? Analysis of the stalk bark sample has given some new insights into the sing stalks. Again, I have already read this, but thank you. Soothe spores, the name by which I have come to call the reef cap's spores, don't seem to be spores at all. Is this why I've been saying growths? Is because of soothe spores? Unlike the modified spores of other stalks, these particles don't have any reproductive capacity. Instead, they resemble endospores, dormant bacteria reduced to dried husks, which can survive for hundreds of years in toxic environments without nutrients. Endospores are incredibly tough and high in calcium, and when released by the reef caps, they dissolve and transfer this calcium to the surrounding environment, where it is absorbed by the local stalks. Alright, fair enough. This windfall of calcium granted by the cap's soothe spores seems to allow stalks to augment their internal signaling and toughen their membrane to protect from predators, allowing them to recover rapidly. But the question remains, how do the reef caps produce these endospores? Another good question. Punctifolia. Shimmer blooms are single-petaled plants found primarily in the sheltered waters of the East Reef. Oh, I went through this. Okay, great. And their behavior? Do plants have behaviors? Laboratory analysis of shimmer bloom pollen reveals it to be a heavy, sticky substance atypical for waterborne distribution. Unlike on terrestrial plants like seagrass, whose pollen is distributed by water currents and is therefore long and light, Shimmerbloom's spherical heavy pollen seems intended to resist distribution by current, and must instead be distributed by creatures who visit the blooms. The reason for this may be the Shimmerbloom's tendency to grow on exposed shelves or pillars, which would risk lightweight water-transported pollen being sucked into the deep ocean, rather than being distributed to variable sites. By relying on creature transport, bloom pollen has a better chance of reaching another sunlit shelf or pillar. Cool. One of these days, Ellery has to visit the medbay. Their medical assessment is due. Well, I guess it's time to go back out there, huh? Alright, so yeah, next up is going to be go out to the way station that we came in from. There's a little bit of exploring back on the reef shelf that we came in, some stuff that we skipped on the way in. But I will be honest with you folks, I am more tired than I expected, and while this game is enjoyable, it's got this very, like, cozy vibe, which I feel like I am going to need something more exciting and or engaged if I'm going to be staying awake with how tired I feel. So maybe we'll pause this until Sunday, and I'll cut stream here, and maybe get to bed early. Damn, wouldn't that be a change? But yeah, I think it's going to be a struggle to go much farther tonight. So I think we're going to cut stream here. And I think I am inclined to play more of this. Like, I'm enjoying going through it. But I definitely need to be more awake than I am now to make that work. So, oh, message log. Oh, the message log is here. So if I miss a message, I can just come back to it. I have missed a lot of messages is the thing. Ah, well. Maybe some other time. But yeah, this is enjoyable. I think I do want to come back to it and see a bit more and see where it's going and learn about all of this alien ecology, which does kind of seem like the point of the game, is alien ecology, right? It's the bare minimum of gameplay necessary in order to be a game, so that it can show off all of the alien ecology. It seems very excited about all of the aqueous life forms it's got going on.